Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how we stamp this back patio. This is part 3 in what's going to be a 4-part series. So part 1 was, we also did a front patio on this job. So part 1 is us pouring these patios. Part 2 is us stamping the front patio. And then part 3 here, I'll go over some details about what we did to stamp this one. Some of the issues we had and what to look out for if you're trying to learn how to stamp concrete. And then part 4 will be kind of like the finished product. Show you what everything looks like in the end. Right now what Luke is doing is he's kind of mag floating out the surface. We're using our funny float just to reach out there so we don't have to get out there on skids. One of the issues we had to deal with here was you can see the sun shining through the window there. Now most of this job is in the shade, right? But where the sun is shining through the window, it was also shining through that door. See how we put some plastic up behind it and some plywood to kind of block the sun? Well, what the sun was doing is it was setting up those areas right there, that little square of sun in front of the door and the window. Those areas were setting up like twice as fast as the areas in the shade, which can kind of lead to problems here if you're stamping, because you want this concrete to set up pretty evenly throughout. And if those two areas are setting up a lot faster, it's going to make stamping this and making it look really nice and good and even a lot more difficult. So there's always little challenges to go with stamping, and that's one of them, and how you deal with it. Now the part where the window is, because the sun's kind of raising up, right? We poured the concrete this morning and then we let it sit for about an hour. Now it's about ready to start stamping. So the sun has been rising up. So that one little spot hasn't been in the sun the whole time. The sun's been kind of moving across the pad as it's raising up into the sky. So the part where the sun's coming through the window wasn't quite as bad as where it was coming through the door. It was hitting there first. And you can see so what we did was, like, Darren's going around the edges right now. He's just tooling the edge, rounding the edge off a little bit, kind of finishing that up before we start stamping. We've got everything magged out. The timing is good right now. We already stamped the front patio. Like I said, that's in part 2. So that one was in complete sun, so it dried up a lot quicker than this one. It firmed up a lot faster. Now, after we got the front patio stamped, this is probably an hour and a half after the pour, maybe 2 hours after the pour right here. Now this one's ready. It's just firm enough to start getting on with the stamps. But what we're doing in advance is we're spraying on some of that clear liquid release, and then Luke is just rolling some texture into the surface. And that just kind of pre-textures the concrete before you put the stamps down. Now you don't have to do that. We just found it's a little easier stamping, it's a little faster stamping if the concrete surface is already textured, and that just makes the job go a little bit easier. That's maybe like a pro tip that a lot of stamp guys don't know. Definitely a lot of beginners and DIYers don't know. Speaking of beginners and DIYers, like if you're wanting to learn how to do concrete, especially stamp concrete, I've got a course down in the description of the video that I have multiple jobs like this, training jobs, where I walk you through step by step how to stamp concrete, things we look for, all the little tips and tricks I've learned over the years that maybe, you can watch a video like this, but not knowing what's going through my head step by step is really what makes stamping difficult. And once you know that stuff, at least what to look out for, then when you try something on your own, you kind of have a reference to refer back to, and that's what the stamp course is about. So I'll take a job like this as we're pouring it, as we're stamping it, and then finishing it and everything, and I'll break it down in little bitty pieces, and that's kind of how I teach you in the stamp course. And that's also available in the Concrete Underground. So the difference between the two is the stamp course, once you buy that, you have it forever. The Concrete Underground is like a monthly thing, so you pay a monthly fee, which is $79 a month right now, and you have access for that month. So if you just want to stay for 1 month, that's great. If you want to go another month, you get charged for another month. So you can stay for a month, you can stay for a year, you can stay as long as you want. But it also has a lot of other types of trainings in it too. Concrete slab training, concrete floor training, power trowel training, how to finish concrete by hand, smooth, how to do epoxy coatings is in there. So the Concrete Underground just has a lot more training information in it. And that's probably, if you're trying to get into business like me, That's probably the best resource for you. Plus, you also have access to me in there. So again, back to this job. We're getting it pre-textured. It's just about ready to start laying stamps on. We got the clear liquid release sprayed on it. That stuff does evaporate, so you don't want to waste it. But being here in the shade, it's not going to evaporate that fast. If you were in the sun, it evaporates pretty quick. So you only want to spray as much as you can stamp in a couple minutes, and then just keep spraying it as you go. So we got the first stamp laid down. Getting the first one down and getting that in place is always key. Making sure you lay it down right. And then I got what we call my stamp shoes on. As you can see, we use those shoe-in shoes to start stamping when the concrete's still pretty soft. That way we don't leave any, because your footprints, your heel prints can go, the stamps are rigid, but they can kind of go down through the stamps if you step wrong on them. So we like starting out with those stamp shoes when the concrete's still pretty soft. Now it's just a matter of getting everything laid out, and those stamps only go together one way. So it's kind of like putting together, a puzzle almost, even though they all look the same. One thing I like is, like, when we do a stamp job, I like to have enough stamps to go across the whole thing, the whole job if I can. So from right to left, and then work my way, kind of from what you call south here to north across the slab. Now, if you don't, that's okay. It's just a little harder to keep your lines all straight that way. This is basically a set of these Ashlar Slate stamps. You get 11 in a set. You get 9 of these rigid ones, which I'm putting down right now. I'll have a place you can check these out, so you can go buy some if you want. And then you get 2 what we call floppies. You can see there's a blue one and a black one over there to the right that kind of flex up the wall. Those are called floppies. Those are a lot less thicker than these rigid ones, and they flex a lot easier to go up walls like that, or maybe to go up around a post or a column. The different colors means, they're all Ashlar Slate looking stamps, but they just have different size rocks under them, so you're not just repeating the same rock pattern every single stamp. It's kind of breaking it up a little bit. So we got basically blue, green, and black here, so in 3 of each. So we try to stagger them a little bit. It's impossible to stagger them over a big slab like this, but for the most part, we break it up as the best we can. Another thing we like is, when we do a stamp job, this one's not very big, even though we did a front one out here too. We just like having plenty of guys. It just makes our lives a lot easier. Now, really, 2 of us could do this pretty easily. Number one, because we're really experienced at it. We know what to look for. We know how fast we got to go based on how quick the concrete's setting up. So 2 of us could really do this pretty easily. Actually, if I had to, I could probably do it myself pretty easily, even though by the end of it, my back would be pretty sore. But having 4 of us here, especially with 2 different areas we're stamping, that just makes life a lot easier. Like, you're never really sure when you do 2 placements on one job like this and you're trying to stamp both, you're never really sure just how the concrete's going to set up. So if that front patio was setting up and the back one was setting up at the same time, and we had to start stamping both of them, then we'd want 2 guys out front, 2 guys out back. We'd have to break up the set of stamps a little bit. Now the front one is about half the size of this one, so it would stamp a lot quicker, but you just never know that. So you just want to be prepared in advance. You can't really go back and fix this stuff after it sets up, so you want to make sure you get it right, you get it perfect the first time. Kind of like what Luke just did there. See how he just picked that green stamp up, and he looked at the joints, and he looked at the texture, and he's like, I gotta get that a little bit better. So he put it back down, started stepping on it a little bit more, and then he picks it back up and looks at it again, and if it looks good, then we move on. And that's what, we got 2 guys around the outside edge, and then 2 of us on the concrete. That's what really speeds things up. So one guy, like little Luke here, young Luke, he's kind of touching things up as we go, making sure it's the way we want it to look with the touch-up tools. And then if he needs to add a little bit of texture to his stone, he can roll that on, touch up the joints. Darren's kind of taking care of stamping the outside piece you know, how those stamps stagger as you put them together. You always have a different size to that outside piece. And we kind of use a floppy for that if we need to, and then we use a floppy up against the building. So Darren's taking care of that, which really speeds things up for me and Luke on the inside and makes this thing go a lot faster here. And then, like I said, you know, we have the clear liquid release right out there with us, and we'll just spray, you know, a couple stamp widths ahead in advance, and then we put the stamps down. And that, you can see when I pull that stamp up, there's no concrete, there's no paste sticking to it at all. And that stuff it just starts evaporating as we stamp and keep moving on. The liquid release starts evaporating off the surface, but it does leave like a residue on there that you can't see. So you got to come back and you got to wash that stuff off. You got to scrub it with, like we use Dawn dish detergent. Scrub it, wash it, kind of like you're washing a car, and then let that dry out really good before you seal it. Now you may say, hey, there's no joints in there. Shouldn't there be joints? That'll be tomorrow. We don't hand tool joints in something like this. We always saw cut joints, and then we try to use the groove lines themselves. We try to hit as much as we can in a groove line with the saw joint. You never can hit it perfect because you can see how everything staggers. But there's usually quite a few of them that line up, so we'll cut a couple joints in this, what I call the short way, the 12-foot way, and then we'll also cut one down the middle of the long way. And that's just part of stamping concrete. You can't get away from that. But I don't think it really takes away from the look myself. So that'll be tomorrow morning we'll do that. We'll come back early in the morning, get it sawed, get it washed, and then we'll walk away again, let it dry out before we come back and put the sealer on. You can see how all those stamps go together. Again, I'll have a link down in the description of a place where you can look at some stamps and possibly, you know, if you're looking to get into this, possibly purchase some stamps. We like this pattern. This is a really popular pattern, Ashlar Slate. And we like the bigger ones. These are like 4 foot by 4 foot. Some companies make them, they're like 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet. That just means that's twice as many stamps you got to put down and pick up to do the same surface area of concrete. So we've been spoiled by these bigger ones all these years, and you can move a lot faster with them. And you figure you're doing about 16 square feet every single time you put a stamp down and pick it up. So you can move across quite a bit of surface area just doing that. And when we get done here today, we also wash the stamp. So we'll wash the liquid release residue right off the stamps and just get them ready for the next job. And that just prolongs the life of the stamp, we think. So it's looking pretty good. We're almost done. Now again, if you want to learn how to do this, the Stamp Concrete course down in the description below, the Concrete Underground, that's available for you. That's basically, you know, if you can go through those or one of them, that I'm going to give you a really good idea how to do this. And then I wouldn't do something this big if you were going to try this for your first time. Like I would do something like the one we did out front, the one in part 2. I'll link those videos at the end of this one so you can go back and check them out. Or maybe something even smaller, you know, maybe set up a little test pour on a piece of plywood, you know, screw down some 2x4s. And you could even do it 1.5 inches thick if you were just doing it to test. You know, a 4 foot by 8 foot piece of plywood, screw some 2x4s down around the outside of it. Maybe buy some bags of Sacrete, 4,000 PSI Sacrete. Dump them in there, smooth it out, and then, you know, do a test run on something like that. You could always cut that up after and use it as patio blocks if you didn't want to waste it. But even something like this, something this small, would be a good one just to test yourself on. But definitely don't jump into something too big if it's your first time. So here we are. We came back this morning. We saw cut it. You can see how we cut it. We cut it with our soft cut saw. And then, you know, basically these are the next stages right here. I'll go into a little more detail on what we look for and some of the reasons why we do this on part 4 of the video. But I'm just giving you a little bit of a taste of what happens on the very next day. So we already, I mean, you don't see Darren and Luke here. We already poured a floor this morning, and we left Darren and Luke on that one. They have to power trowel it. So basically a house like you see behind me, we actually did the slabs in the house here and the garage also. So we leave a couple guys on there to power trowel that, and then 2 of us will come here. So it's probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning right now. And then we'll just get this part done for today. Today's really day 3 here. Day 1 was us forming this, putting the wire mesh in here, getting it prepped. Day 2 is the pouring and the stamping. Day 3 is what we're doing here. We saw cut it, we wash it, and then what I'm doing right now is I'm adding a little antique, what we call teak wash. This is called texture enhancer. I get this at Decocrete Supply in Ohio. It's just a little powder you put in the water, you mix it up, you spread it on. You can see it adds a little secondary color. Most of that color kind of settles into the lower spots. And then you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to put just a little bit of me sealing this on. We also put color in the concrete. When we poured the concrete, we put a dark gray color in the concrete. So this concrete's going to stay pretty dark after it's sealed versus that concrete garage floor. You can see how light that concrete lightens up after it cures up. Instead of it looking really light like that, the homeowner wanted it kind of dark. So here it is after it dries up, after you put that antiquing release agent on it. And then once you seal it, you can see what happens. It kind of highlights the antiquing release agent. That's the like charcoal, the blacker look. And then the dark gray look of the concrete itself gives it 2 different colors on that. And this is what the homeowner wanted it to look like. And I do 3 coats of this sealer. So this is coat 1. I'll go over it real quick 3 times really light, and this is what it's going to look like. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.